Alright, so in this video, we are going to discuss about a Salesforce provided product called Sales Cloud. Sales Cloud is a product which helps a particular set of businesses to maintain their sales data. So any business, if they want to sell their product or service, there will be a customer journey, right? They will onboard the customers. We can't call them as a customer, by the way. They onboard the lead. Lead are basically the prospects, and from the prospect, they will convert them into a customer, right? And that's a journey. Sales Cloud is a product which tracks the journey, which tracks each and every data about the journey, and at the same time, it does a lot of automation. So this particular demo we are going to have, I want you to think as a business user. Suppose you are the salesperson and you are taking the demo as a business user, because we first have to understand what are the standard features that Salesforce provide, and this is one of that. After that, we will talk about how you as an admin can actually configure or extend that standard feature that Salesforce provides. So as of now, just be blank and think yourself that you are the business user and I'm just giving you a demo of that product, how you can use it, right? And after that, we'll see how to configure the product. Salesforce comes up with so many products. The one that we're discussing is called Sales Cloud. And think about an example. Okay, let's say Delipat. Delipat, again, the business looking for implementing Salesforce, and what kind of business they have some product, suppose. Okay, so let's say they have a GST automation product. They're actually putting up a campaign, suppose. Okay, in that campaign, a lot of industries owners or salespeople, they're coming to the campaign and asking, hey, what is the product? How does it help me, right? How can my business can benefit from the product? So Delipat have put up a campaign. All right, and now every single data is important for a business, right? For a company like Delipat, if let's say they have to redo the campaign or not in future, based on what they will take the decision based on the data, right? So every single campaign that they are doing, there is a data and they have to store somewhere, correct? Now think like for a real-time business, actually it's not one campaign, thousands of campaigns happen, right? So let's say a number of campaigns are happening every single day, and every single campaign data you have to store somewhere. Now you are, suppose, a sales executive, all right? And what is your job is basically you are managing a campaign. Suppose you are the salesperson for Delipat and you are managing the campaign. So you as a sales executive, right, you first have to log into Salesforce org, right? So I'm assuming that you already have Salesforce username and password. By the way, if you are a sales executive, it is a Salesforce admin job to onboard you as a sales executive in the Salesforce org so that you get your username and password. All right. So that's again a part of user management story. We will discuss that in the user management, right? So I'm assuming that the sales executive has the username and password. So what they'll do is they will just go to login.salesforce.com, click on enter, and here, like, my username and password is basically this, so I'll just click on login, right? So I'm assuming that I am a sales executive. Okay, when I log in, right, I will see this particular screen, and this is where I have logged in. When you log into the application, when you log into the Salesforce org, you will first see the home tab, right? When you first log in and go to the sales app, right, by clicking on these dots and going to the sales app, you will first see the home tab, right? So this is a home tab. It's pretty much configurable, and we as an admin have to do it, by the way. So we will see that how to configure that entire home page in the configuration sections. But here in the home page, the user get to see all its related task, events, the reports, few recent data, and so and so. All right, so that's all about home tab. Now think about an example, right? So business like Delipat, they're actually selling what? GST automations, and they're putting up a campaign, and that campaign have data, right? And that data actually goes inside Salesforce. So now I'm just going to ask you one question, right? What do you think as a what do you think from a business perspective, right? What sort of data about a single campaign, about an individual campaign, you as a business person should store in the system? Campaign name. Every campaign should have a name, right? Maybe my campaign happening in Bangalore, India. Some campaign is happening in New York. Some campaign is happening in some other city. So some name would be there, right? What is the start date? What is the end date? Sometimes the campaign goes on for a couple of days, right? End date. What is the budget? What is the expense? Let me tell you this, right? You as an admin, or you might work as a business analyst with a customer to understand the customer need, right? So as a business analyst, it's our job to ask right questions to the customer and gather the proper requirement and then go ahead with the business requirement documentation. Now as a BA, it's kind of a consultative, it's kind of an advisory role, right? You advise the customer, you question the customer such a way so the customer gives you the requirement. Sometimes customers don't know what they want actually, right? So you as a BA, right, ask a proper question to the customers, and that's when the customer will open up and give all the requirement in detail. Okay, suppose you as a BA, like suggesting the customer saying, do you want to capture something like if the budget has overshooted, if the expense has overshooted, right? So what you can do is you can probably have a checkbox, right? Overshoot budget or expense. You can have a checkbox field like this, and that field will be true or false based on the value of this, right? Let's say the budget is $100 and the expense is $120, so it's basically more than the budget you have spent, right? So automatically that checkbox should be true. Correct. So that kind of small automation is what you can suggest the customer. You can ask the customer whether they want this to be there or not. All right. Now after this, let's say you want to capture, the business want to capture the owner of the campaign. See, every campaign should have an owner, right? The salesperson basically who is actually handling the campaign, right? And then what is the type of the campaign? Let's say type is also a mandatory thing. For every campaign nowadays, it's a digital campaign, physical campaign, or maybe social media campaign, whatever the type of the campaign is. Sometimes a business do like a webinar where they ask a lot of customers to join the webinar, and once the customers join the webinar, they actually collect them as a lead, right? So there are different types of campaign that nowadays a business does. You as a business analyst have to ask like if the type field has to be like a free text field, or it has to be like a preloaded list field, or whatever it is, right? So these are called field, by the way, right? Campaign is an object, right? Salesforce provided standard object, correct? So campaign is an object which Salesforce has already provided to us. We don't have to create it, and these are called fields inside the campaign, right? So there could be multiple fields. I'm not going more in detail on the fields and all. So let's say these are the fields that has to be captured for each and every campaign. Now if I go back to the Salesforce screen, see, Salesforce already have an object called campaign, and after you as a salesperson log in, right, you have new button over here. See, like you, there could be hundreds of sales executives, and every single person will have a login to the same Salesforce org or instance, and everybody will create his or her own campaign data. So let's say I'm creating a campaign called New York campaign. The campaign is active. See, if you see here, most of the field that we discussed during our requirement gathering workshop is already present, like the name, start date, end date. Check this out. Status, I think we haven't discussed about the status, right? So status is also a mandatory field for a campaign that we should capture. So these are the standard fields that Salesforce already have given to us, right? Now on top of this, right, let's say business wanted to capture the number of employee. I don't think the number of employee field is there here. So again, you as an admin have to configure that. Whatever is not present in the system, it's all an admin job to configure it, right? Suppose I have created the campaign. Now the campaign data is there. This is the campaign detail page. Okay, that's the detail page. The owner of the campaign is the logged in user basically. So I have logged in as Rajesh Chatterjee, and that user become the owner of that particular campaign. This is the name of the campaign, and these are the detail of the campaign. All right. Now this campaign, there could be like hundreds of more campaign like that, and for every campaign the owner would be different. Correct? Like here the owner is Rajesh, but for another campaign the owner will be different. So this is how Salesforce can offer a business to capture all their campaign data. I hope you understood now what is the use of object here, right? So campaign is a ready-made object. It's a standard object, and these are called what? Fields, right? Type, active, status, these are called fields. And when you create the data, this is called record. So New York campaign, right? NY camp is the data in the campaign object, right? It is called record, right? And these are called button and stuff like that. And this is called the related list. So this campaign has lot of related stuff, and when you go to the related tab, you get to see all the related list. Okay, we'll talk about the related list after this. Okay, now campaign is created. What is the use of campaign? To gather the leads, correct? So the same salesperson Rajesh who has captured the campaign data will go to next object called lead, and he will capture a new lead data. So if you go to the lead tab, you have so many buttons available over here. Okay, we'll talk about the buttons, but let's create a new lead. So let's say now we have to understand this lead a little bit more. Okay, if you see here, when you open the lead, you have a lot of ready-made fields available. When you click on the new button, you as a sales executive, when you try to onboard the lead, right, you have to first log in, go to the lead tab, and you have a new button. By the way, Salesforce by default there's no restriction, so if there are hundreds of sales executives, they can see each other's leads, by the way. Okay, but again, customers would definitely want something like, if you are the owner of a lead, you should be able to see. If you are not the owner of a lead, you should not be able to. Those kind of security comes in the picture, which we will be talking about in this security chapter. Now let's create a new lead. We need to understand the nature of a lead, okay, for any business. So if you see here, there are so many standard fields are already given by Salesforce, and like first name, last name, phone, mobile. One field, so a couple of fields if you see with a red color asterisk, right? These are the mandatory fields, right? So if you click on save, you cannot save it without putting value in these mandatory fields. So last name and company is a mandatory field. Now let's talk about this company. So basically there are two types of lead that you get to see for any business. Okay, one is called B2B, one is called B2C leads.